And here we are.
And here we are back again. And I'm in the same location, but for going from Toronto to Amsterdam, you live in Amsterdam now.
I live in Amsterdam now.
How the hell is Amsterdam?
Oh my god, it's good. It's wild. Like because I've been doing so much book stuff since I got here like a week and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
And so there's been this kind of mix of me actually like not going out that much
Yep.
because I've just been like, I'm so much better at this than I've ever been before. And I still will kind of do the thing where I'm like, I'm not allowed to do anything unless I'm doing the thing I'm supposed to do, you know?
Girl.
Yeah. But so it's like, what if we just sat inside for 5 hours and did nothing? And even that, I mean, again, I'm so much like, there were definitely days in the last week and a half where I was like, okay, I just am accepting that I'm not getting work done and I'm going to go out and whatever.
Yeah.
But there was also like, the book had to be submitted 2 days ago.
There's also
So it was like,
yeah.
you can't,
Yeah.
like you've got to finish it, you know? And so yesterday I gave myself the day like completely off. I was just like, I had submitted it on Monday, and yesterday I was like, no, I'm going out. And it was the first time that I got on a bike, and I was just like biking around and just like, because it's been landing on different layers since I got here, that it's like, okay, this is where you are, and this is the life is completely, it's the same, but it's completely different. And like, yeah, I had a moment on Monday too after I submitted the book. Cuz I also just in the last few weeks like I've just recognized that I've been more in a place where like I haven't been that like deep in my body or in my feelings. Like I've kind of just been surface like function level. And I've recognized, I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm aware of that, but like that's just sometimes we're in one space and sometimes we're in another. But have been knowing that I'm like, I know that I've got feelings about everything that I'm doing, right? Like the book and the moving and the this and the that. And I'm like, but I haven't really felt them. I've just kind of been doing stuff. And then on Monday, after I submitted the book, I went into the city and was like walking around a little bit. And all of a sudden, it like hit where it was like, oh no, like it's done.
Yeah.
And it's like the child, the like that it's like, it's, yeah. And then I was having all of the feelings and the moments, and I like called my sister and I was like crying. And we don't call each other often, we're not, she and my mom are like talk on the phone people, and I'm not a talk on the phone people. So if she sees a call from me,
She's like,
right. And so I like did the thing right where she like answered it, and I'm like crying, and I'm like, everything's fine.
sorry, but I'm having it. Yeah, you have established I'm physically safe.
Okay. And also, but I've also started so many, well, not so many, but calls to her where like something bad had happened where I'm like, I'm okay. But, so like, you still don't know what's, but I'm like, no, I just like, yeah, like realized like, okay, and it's layers and it's moments, and it's never, you never fully arrive and you never fully depart. But like, there are those moments where it's like, great, that part is done and now you're here.
It's
Yeah.
I so like that when so many things are happening and you're like, I know the big things are below the surface, but I can't fully access them yet. And then when they finally do, you're just like, there it is.
Yep.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually, I wasn't even gonna ask this question. As somebody who feels big, and as you who somebody who feels big,
I love how big we feel.
I love how big we feel too, and I think this book is that. I don't know exactly what this question is forming, but I guess it's like, in a world that doesn't feel big. I mean, not to say not everybody, but the majority of people don't feel big. I guess maybe the question is just like, what is your experience of feeling so big, both in like life in the world, and as you said, I'm birthing this thing, and then I'm moving, but then also when you think about the book, being with different relationships and people that aren't on that same level, and how do you experience that?
intensely.
There's no other way.
I know. Wait, also before I answer that, do you have I keep hearing a little bit of a breeze on your mic, but
Ah,
I know it's like a million degrees in London, so I don't want to be like, can you
but
close
I
the
also
window?
can close the window. It's like an hour. I can close the window here.
Okay. But
Okay.
if you start baking, like
I'm dying. If I become,
oh my
if
God,
I'm to die, should I like mute as I go, or should I just like go?
you can just
I'll
go.
just go.
Yeah,
Okay.
just go. I had to close the window last time. Are
Fair.
those my yellow shorts?
They sure are your yellow
Oh,
shirts.
wow.
The
Oh, for context for anybody listening or watching, Emma and I were in Barcelona together last summer. I love them. And we basically just did like a giant clothing swap where I was like, I love these things, but I never wear them. And she was like, I love these things, but I never wear them. And now we have each other's. Yeah.
like the yellow shorts, the tank top, and the blue top has changed my life. Like that top is when you just have a piece of clothing where you're like, I love this so much.
Uh huh.
This is just me
Uh
to a
huh.
T. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful. And I
And it becomes. And every time I see you post something wearing it, I'm like, it makes me so happy. Oh, okay. Anyway, to go back to the feelings. Well, I guess those are feelings too. They're just the bubbly, yeah,
yeah,
sparkly ones.
yeah.
Um, so I live I live in a world where I simultaneously like believe two things very sincerely. One of them is that like I think everyone actually does like feel the way that you and I feel. They just don't know how to access it.
Mhm.
And they're afraid of it,
Yep.
and it's just and they're taught to ignore it and all of that. And I also believe that there is a giant portion of humanity that literally doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, and that was something when I was younger, I lived firmly in the camp of like everybody experiences stuff this way. And
Mhm.
I almost felt like it was like part of, like, I would try to kind of like bring it out of people in a way that was actually probably quite damaging or harmful because I was like, pulling and poking at things in people that they maybe weren't ready to have pulled and poked at, but I didn't really understand what I was doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was kind of like everyone that I met, I was like, there's got to be more. Like, I know there's got to be more. You're giving me this, but there has to be more. And now that I'm at this spot on my journey, one of the things that I actually had to like integrate in a way that was really unexpected was coming to understand and recognize that like genuinely there are some people that don't have
Yeah.
this big of feelings and experiences, and that's okay. It doesn't make anything better or worse, but like that they're just living in a world where things are just kind of like okay, they still have feelings, they still have emotions, they still have experiences, but it's if we're looking at like a 10-point scale and you and I have the full 1 to 10, a lot of people, I'm thinking of that the Kristen Bell video. Have you where she like the sloth comes for
Yes.
her birthday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's like, if I'm like anything like outside of like a 4 to 6 on the emotional scale, I'm like sobbing, like
Yep.
um
That's such a good way to put it. Yep.
yeah, like, but I think a lot of people literally just live between a 4 and a 6. They've never experienced more. And so that's something that two of the men that are in the book towards the end, they taught me many things, right? Many, many, many things, but both of them in their own ways kind of showed me that it's just like sometimes there's actually just not more there.
That's just it.
And this person is beautiful and their experience is beautiful, right? And there is capacity. Number 22 is someone who, like, when we were to, when our paths overlapped, yeah, he was kind of between that 4 and a 6.
Yeah.
And then after our time together, he had some experiences that completely rocked him to his core.
Mhm.
And he was feeling things and experiencing things and like, just was cracked open to a different level of being. And that's now we've kind of like rekindled our friendship in this really beautiful space because he like, knew it was like he had the ability to recognize those things in me, even though he didn't understand them and he loved them about me. But he also was just kind of like, cool, but we couldn't meet. Yeah. And then after he'd had these experiences, he kind of reached out because I think he knew that I was someone that actually would get it, right? And yeah, so it's just kind of fascinating to see how our friendship has evolved
It's
in
beautiful.
I
It's like so
know.
surprising.
I know. Especially because, like, with him, it really, like, he was really someone where I was just like, I think this container is completely closed in,
Yep.
like, the time and space we had
Yep.
together.
Yep.
Like, completely. And then all of a sudden, I mean, like,
Surprise.
yeah. And, like, he's someone that I talk to, like, very frequently now. Like, he's in the, like, top sphere of humans that I'm in communication with, right? And I'm
Like,
like,
for sure.
I know, right? Like, if you had told me that a year ago, I would have been like, what? A year ago, we literally hadn't spoken in like 9 months because it was like I had left and it was just like, okay, bye.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, so all of this to say, I think when I was younger and I had the big feelings, but I didn't know what to do with them or how to process them or how to understand them or even recognize that that's what they were. Because I also lived in a world where I believed I was like void of emotion for
Mm.
like decades. Like I might have said this in our last conversation, but at one point when I was in therapy in like my late 20s, I remember having a conversation with my therapist where I basically was like, told her that I was like afraid I was like a psychopath or like a sociopath for like how much I didn't feel about, I was like, I was like, I'm scared that I'm like, like, I don't know, that there's something deeply wrong with me because like I don't care enough about stuff. And she basically was just
Girl.
she only broke like therapist character with me a few times to
Yeah.
kind of be like, I need to like, yeah. And it was one of those times. And she literally was just like, Lindy, I talk to a lot of people
Yeah.
about their feelings and their emotions. And like, you have it's like you don't always know how to see them or label them or what to do with them, but like you feel, and I was like, okay, are you sure? Because I think maybe I'm like,
Oh, good.
yeah. But yeah, so it was like before that whole process of being like, oh, that's what this is, and I think I ended up interacting with a lot of people in friendship and in, whatever else you want to call it, lovership, friends with physical connections, whatever it was, that it was like I would end up in situations with people where we both were incredibly deeply feeling, but we also both didn't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where it's kind of like so much of the almost like pain and struggle it was like that incredible connection because we both saw each other in a way. It was like we could see that the other one had the entire universe within them. And it was like we so yearned for that within ourselves and to access that within ourselves and to help the other person kind of access it within them and heal it and move through it and just, but none of us had the tools. So it's just
And that's part of the journey, right? You're not gonna have the tools, a decade ago that you have now. It's just,
it wouldn't have been a journey.
No, exactly.
Like, yeah. Yeah. And now, it's like, I don't know. It's really interesting looking back and recognizing that, like, what's the word for it? I guess just now that I can see that it's like, okay, yes, there is a lot of feeling, a lot of just that my being is very massive, right? And I am a very large mirror for a lot of people because of that too, where it's like, cool, I have all of these feelings, I have these thoughts, I have these experiences, I have this burning desire to like live, even though that's, mirrored by like once upon a time a burning desire to not live, like that all of that is there, that simultaneously in other people who have that within them, it shows them the like beauty and the wonder, that they are capable of, but it also reflects a lot of their pain. And I didn't really, I just didn't have the ability to really understand that for a long time. And so I think that again, that's sometimes where some of the like, I don't know, just like damage would be done. because yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay, so I'm here and it's going to be this and it's going to be that. And we're going to feel these things. We're going to experience these things, but we're also going to kind of hold everything at a distance. And, you know, it, it's a lot to just kind of explode open in someone and then just be like, okay, see ya, like leaving the country. Yeah. While also feeling all of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because I think ultimately, and a lot of people, I mean, that's why people get so scared, I think, to be vulnerable, to have intimacy when there's so much unknown on the other side of it. And how can we have such a profound, intimate moment? And maybe it's only going to be in that container, but they don't want to fully go there because it's like, then I'm going to be in pain when that's over. And the people are very scared of pain, which I understand. But you said the way you said something was kind of to a question of just the book and skip. I had like a list of order, but of course we go out of order because that's just what we do.
Yes.
But, the journey of, the men, and I forget if I asked you this on our previous chat, but the type of man in the beginning to the end, but how you just said that, I mean, as we know, we both have an intimate relationship of wanting to not be here. And then because of going through that and healing, it's like, oh, I want to be here so much with so much aliveness that I'm not willing to sacrifice myself and my aliveness for another. I guess it's the way you said that. It's so interesting to say your own relationship with your mental health and the kind of man you were attracting and yourself transforming, and then the kind of man you're in relationship with. So I guess, I don't know, just how does that feel to kind of look at this book and see your journey and feel her journey, that journey of that depth of pain and the kind of relationships you were in and lessons to where you are now with the 23, like you're
Yeah.
just that journey of that.
One of the things that I have been recognizing as I have gone back and like reread and kind of connected dots, it's been so beautiful for me because so much of my journey just outside of this book, just in the last few years, right, has been me connecting my own dots through time
Mhm.
and space and recognizing that it's like, oh, that thing that happened is now replaying in this new way 10
Mm.
years down the line in a way that allows me to kind of experience it and rewrite it and heal it, right? And in the book now, it's like every time I go back in, it's actually that's part of where I've with the editing process because I keep seeing dots that connect literally from being like, oh my God, this thing that happened with person one then showed up literally 13 years later, and it's like it's the same thing, but it's different, right? And so like and wanting on some level to be able to portray that in some way and
Yeah.
also recognizing that it's like it's going to be impossible for all of that to get in there. um but something that I've recognized even more recently in the rereads and the sitting in it all is like just having this deeper appreciation for my own, not even fear, but like genuine terror of connection and deep feeling and loss when I was younger,
Mm.
even for how deeply connected. And I think that's something that's probably hard for a lot of people, maybe to understand, even especially the people that I was engaged with, because it was so deep and so connected. And that I'm like, I was still holding 95% of me back because I was so afraid of what actually happens if I let all of that. Yeah. You know, and again, it's like many things can be true at once, where it's like I always knew I never wanted a boyfriend. I didn't want a husband. I didn't want any of these to be real relationships. I didn't care. None of you were going to be my, except for the one who kind of wasn't. Even that I still held at a distance. I'm
Mm.
like, none of you are going to be my boyfriend. Like, I'm here for me. You're here with me. This is fun. Like, we're doing this. I love you. I care about you. But you're not. I'm here for me. I'm
Mm.
here for my own thing, right? And but simultaneously also like getting so lovingly entwined. um so I guess, sorry, no, I lost my thread and then now I'm back on it. But it's like that simultaneous thing of being like, I know within me that none of these people were ever supposed to be my person. I knew that then, absolutely. And I was also terrified, like I held them all at distances because I was terrified of what being closer to them would mean.
It's
And
everything all at once.
like, yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I guess now I do know. Yeah, I do know the way to do it now, right? Of being able to, like, I have people in my life that I am deeply in loving relationship with in some way, whatever the way it is that it looks like for us. But it's not, doesn't mean we're together, doesn't mean any, it's just that it's like, I love you. You and I have a love and connection that is like, just like insanely real and deep and human, and we just let it be.
Yeah.
But it takes having humans in your life that can also just understand that and communicate it. And it was like, the communication was not there, 15 years ago. And it was just the fear in me of being hurt, of being seen,
Mm-hmm.
of really just being vulnerable, like you said, right? Like all of that it's like, okay, I'm gonna like let this get as close as it possibly can, but I'm still going to like keep massive walls around anything that feels truly sensitive, or truly like it could inflict damage.
Yeah.
And then, as we see, like some of the earlier people where it's like, I did kind of start to explore a little bit of like, okay, well, what happens if I do let this piece get seen, or if I do kind of like allow this to feel a little bit more, raw or connected or whatever. And then it's like, when that is not respected, when that is hurt, when that is, that it's like, cool, like,
Yep.
right back up.
Walls. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so just like, it really, everything is like, it comes down to that like fear and love, and like on the journey, recognizing all of the ways in which I, in my own universe, needed to be moving completely from love, and where I was moving from fear, and the things that I had done that I had told myself I was doing out of love, but I was actually doing out of fear. And yeah. And now to be like, okay, just because a conversation is uncomfortable doesn't mean that it's not an incredibly loving thing to do. It's actually the most loving thing to do, right? It's like, it's, but that's, anybody that's in my life now, in any way, those conversations and that relationship is founded on mutual love and care for one another, and but like anchored in love of self first.
Yeah. And that's, and I think I said this in our last conversation, like that is what this book is to me. It's your journey. And like, again, it's what, 15 years or 16. 16. Yeah. You weren't supposed to 16 years ago be able to differentiate between fear and love, There's a song in a musical called Tick, Tick, Boom, and it's like fear or love, literally saying fear or love. So when you said that, I'm like, it's true. And I think we constantly have to ask ourselves that, but then that's part of the vulnerability with self and the honesty with self, which, is part of the journey. And you're not there 16 years ago in the way that you are now. Okay, wait, let me come to some of my questions, which we have kind of touched upon some stuff. I guess I want to give the listeners like a little person here, a little chapter here. Actually, wait, before we even get to that, because again, you talk about how there's only one man really who kind of infiltrated you in the way the deepest love can. And I know it's almost impossible to answer this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. But like,
can't wait.
But just like, what does that feel like? And what did that change in you? What did that teach you about yourself then and now? I know, I'm sorry.
No, it's so funny because, again, one of the things that I have been thinking on and reflecting on more recently, as I've like been really finishing it and being like, this is done. And it's like not just the metaphorical chapter that is done, but it's like that era that all of it's done. And so sometimes it's like I'm reading stuff that I wrote about all of these people, but especially that person in particular. And I'm just like, none of it feels anymore, which
Wow.
is good. That's
Yeah.
the point, right? It's like that was, and it felt, every word is completely true,
Yeah.
and it is no longer. So sometimes I'm just like, I know that was so real. I know that was the full experience. That's literally what catapulted me in
Yeah.
to, along with a few other things, right? My dad's leukemia. Like there was just a lot. There was a perfect storm in my life of just being like, all of this stuff just happened that was so incredibly feeling and hard, and just, and then COVID and just all of this, that it was like, okay, now you just actually need to go and just like deal with it and heal
Mhm.
it and figure it
Mhm.
out. Um, yeah. And sometimes I'm also like, wow. And also I think because I know so steadfastly now that it all went exactly as it was supposed to,
Mm.
that I'm just like, what he and I had was so beautiful, so incredible, so perfect. And I know it was supposed to go exactly the way
Yep.
that it went,
Yep.
right? That like, I'm sure, I mean, there's every timeline, every universe, every reality exists. I'm sure there's one in which somehow we lived to, but I'm like,
That was
it wasn't right,
no.
because there's a sole reason that I'm here. There is a purpose.
Yeah.
Every other timeline, there are other timelines where I figured it out in a different way,
Yeah.
right? But any timeline in which I ended up spending my life with him is a timeline where it's like, oh God, like even saying that, I'm just like, because it was wrong.
Yeah.
It was right for the moment, and
Yeah.
then it became wrong. And because it wasn't, it was the lesson, right?
Mm.
But yeah, I remember in September of 2022, I met up with a friend from college that I hadn't seen for a few years. He happened to be in Chicago. This is actually one of the last nights that I ever drank before I stopped. It was like
Wow.
2 nights before the last night I drank, and I woke up the next day and I was like, I'm done drinking. And he and I went up, like met up for a few probably old fashions at a dive bar in Chicago. Um, and I remember telling him about this person and this relationship and how it had just like, because I was at that point in September 2022, I was a, basically a year and a half into the intense healing journey portion of, yeah. So I was in the thick of it when he and I met up. And I remember him basically just saying something like, had you ever been in love before? And I was like, no. And he just kind of was like, yeah, like that's just kind of what it feels like the first time you're in love.
Yeah.
And I remember being like really mad. I didn't express it to him, of course, because I was terrified of expressing, negative feelings.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was just like, you have no idea what this person and I experienced.
Mm.
And how, and I mean, and again, it's like so many things can be true, because part of me is like, I had never experienced being in love before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think on some level, the first time any human experiences what that is for them, it's going to just rock
their world
to their core. And as a very deep feeler, and for the fact that I was like 25 or 26 when he and I met, so I'd lived a lot of life before and felt a lot of things before I felt this. And so on some level now, I'm like, I've revisited that moment a few times, and I've been like, there was truth in what he said. And that's why it made me so mad.
Right.
And I mean, again, it's like, I think that there's kind of two things that can exist. And a lot of people, I think, love, and they love partners. They have a significant other that they love very, very deeply. But it is not the same as when you see two human beings that are like on fire for one another, right? And just that it's like, and I've seen that kind of love in a few other people. And what he and I had, like, it was that. And I don't know, maybe it's not fair you can't compare anything to anything, right? And I just remember being with him and being like, looking at like every other relationship basically that I saw around me and being like, y'all are fucked. Yeah, like this is not, you don't have what this, and again, I mean, and recognizing too that there was a lot of like stuff that wasn't super healthy in the way that he and I were, entangled and in a lot of the stuff that he hadn't dealt with and that I hadn't dealt with, and just all of it. And the foundational core of the fact that it was just like, you know, and you can talk about trauma bonds or like, you know, twin flames or whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it was like there was nothing that could have stopped us from being who we were together. Yeah. You know, I've had people be like, because early on, I made it very clear early on that I was like, I'm not having kids, period. That's just not something that I'm interested in, whatever. He was on the fence. He had never, you know, he was kind of like, indifferent maybe isn't the complete right word, but it wasn't like I need them and I don't need them. He was just, but like on one hand, it's like having children is, if one person wants them and one person doesn't, that should be a fundamental incompatibility, right? And again, that wasn't the situation here, but a lot of people will be like, well, you put that on a list and it's a yes or a no, and I'm like, this love, you can't checklist things, you know, like there's no, you don't, soulmates, you don't live on a checklist, you don't have a say in the matter. So even that, like, you know, first or second time he and I ever hung out, just the two of us, like it wouldn't have stopped anything. You know, I remember my friend's mom asking me once, this was right after I got back from Costa Rica, the first time I was there, after I'd sat my first 2 ceremonies with ayahuasca. I literally went straight from Costa Rica to Miami, which was an insane way to re-enter the United States. I was just like, what the hell is going on? And it's like May 2021, so we're still like pretty intensely in the pandemic, and I'm just like, oh baby, like literally the only friend on earth that I would ever go to Miami for happened to be in Miami at the time. So I was like, okay, I guess we'll go to Miami. And we got brunch with her mom. And so this is also right after all of the stuff with this person that we're talking about had just like reopened within me, because ayahuasca was like, hey, not only was that love like the most intense thing you've ever experienced, it was actually even more intense, more beautiful, more pure, more everything than you could ever have comprehended. And maybe you were wrong.
But let me just say really quick, like that's a reason to read this book. Like this is like that alone, obviously everything in it, but like that alone is a reason to read this book. Continue.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah. That's how insane I went after that, in a good way, a very important way. But yeah. But yeah, so I had just reopened this wound of being like, oh my God, like what we had was so sacred, right? And I went to brunch with my friend and her mom, and I like tried to kind of say something along the like, you know, she probably asked me if I was seeing anyone, because that's what people do. I don't know. And I was just like, my heart festers for the love that has been lost. Like I couldn't express it. And I just remember her mom being like, so why did you break up? And I was like, again, it was one of those things where I felt so much and everything just stayed in, but it was like, there isn't an answer to that question. If you can answer, so why did you break up? Like, and maybe that's not fair, like, but it's like, it's just a completely different universe. If you're like, we broke up because they wanted to buy a blue car and I wanted to buy a red car, it's like, okay, you were in a different kind of relationship and that's okay.
Yeah.
He and I fell apart at the seams, screaming and clawing, and you know, like, and we needed to, but it was like, yeah. So it was just like, I don't know. It just,
it feels it feels impossible. But also kind of what we were saying in the beginning about the feelers and there's nothing, you know, I'm not trying to say one is better than the other. It's not that, but like this book is for the people who, even if you don't know that, understand that language, understand that, or want to understand that language, or want to experience that. And I think that's what I love so much about, I mean, so many reasons why I love so much about it. Even if I haven't fully experienced things that you are writing, it's like it like quenches a thirst in a way that I'm like, I just need, this is what life is supposed to be. This is what love and relationships and art and living is supposed to be. Oh, I'm just so passionate about this. Okay. Like, I really am. Okay, wait. I'm just looking at my questions.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of asked this one. Just kind of what I just said, like people are going to feel themselves in this, even if they haven't fully,
Well,
and
I think. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was gonna, did you intend that?
There was no intention. Like, there was no. It's like again, simultaneously, everything I do in my life is like so intentional, and also like I'm not thinking about anything, you know.
Intentional trips a lot and also not.
And also like it all just kind of happens. Um, because like there was never a moment that I was like, oh, I should do this to like help people. Like all of this half of this book was written before I even realized that I was writing the book, right? Like literally the yeah, half of the words just were things that like energetically I threw up over the course of the last however many years as I was going on the healing journey. And there would be times that I was just walking down the street and all of a sudden I would be hit with this like, you know, a thing that needed to be released, and it would come through in the form of words, and I would just be like walking down the street trying not to get hit by cars, just like getting it out into my notes app. So if there is any intention, I guess at some point along the journey, once I started sharing more of my writing on Instagram, I realized that there were layers to release that happen of things that you're healing, right? And that I would think that I had actually released something or healed something. I had thought that writing the thing was that, and that was a layer of it. But as soon as I would post it publicly, there would be this other layer of just like weight lifted off of me, where it's like that actually belongs to the world now. Yeah. The fact that I'm not the only person that knows that this thing happened, even if no one read it didn't matter if it didn't get a single interaction, whatever. It was literally just the universe being like, hey, you let that go. You let someone else know. You don't care actually if anyone else sees that or reads it or whatever. And so somewhere along the line, I realized that like the act of writing the book, of telling the story of whatever, that in and of itself becomes this fulfilling of the prophecy of moving the thing along. Like, if for some reason on Sunday the book could not be released, right? Couldn't come out into public. I believe my life still would follow the path that it's meant to follow, right? Mm-hmm. And I also know that like whatever the next layer of like my evolution, my life, my whatever, like that part of that is almost contingent on allowing this to be public, that the intention is actually just the self-fulfilling of the journey that I realized I was on, right? That it's like the coming home to self, the like stepping into who you were always meant to be, the like doing that it's like, well, who were you moving towards? Who were you becoming? Who were you choosing in all of this? Okay, it's me. What does she do? What is she tells the story? Okay, so how does that go? Well, she publishes the story. Like, okay, so now we're, so I guess the intention is just, I think you're quite, I'm like going back to the actual question. I'm like, I think that you asked about other people and I'm talking about myself, but it really is just like, it's about freeing me and any other benefit that has.
It's a beautiful bonus.
Yes. Yeah. And I have recognized that like, the thing is like the truer that we are about our own self and our own experience and the pure 100% honesty and truth of what it is that is in our hearts, like that allows other people to access that within themselves.
Yeah. And that's it. That's this book. Yeah. That's this book. Oh my God. Okay. It's funny. I was going to kind of ask about different numbers, but then I just had this thing of like, I'm going to give you a number and then I want you to say like one word or phrase. And the reason why I want to do this, because I kind of want to show people again the kind of the journey of the early numbers to the later numbers. But also I just want to, the way you write and like I'm such a like I don't I'm just such a like vision, like I just see things, right? And so when I'm reading in certain scenes, it's like I'm in that scene with you. Or so like a number 4 in the scene in the Uber, I'm just like, oh, I just felt
Yeah.
felt felt. Okay, so what's like one word or phrase for 4?
Wait. 4. There's no Uber in 4. I'm so sorry. So no, because I'm like, do you mean because 4 is in a bar and it's just one entry.
Where's the one that I had for
The Uber is the imaginary number. He's the unnumbered one.
Okay,
Yes.
that
Yes.
one.
Oh, okay. Cool. 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 Cool.
Oh,
Cool.
wait, let's do 4 and then let's do that one.
Okay. So 4. Just like play. I
Oh
think
yeah, I
would be
wrote
the
that
word.
right here. I was like, no number 1, Uber. I just my notes got messed up. Sorry. I was looking. I was like, no, I was okay. Sorry. Go.
That's so funny. So yeah, I think number 4 would probably just be like play.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So now on number 1, Uber.
Yes. Specifically for that moment.
Yeah. Let's do that. I like that.
Okay. For that
I know, because that moment was like just so.
oh, like, is that sound a word? Like, it
Yeah.
was, oh, hang on, I need to look up the definition of this word to make sure, because it just came through so intensely, but I'm like, what if that doesn't mean that what I think that it means? I'll say it no matter what, but I want to know if it's, yeah, okay. Benediction is
Wait,
the word that,
benediction?
benediction. A short invocation for divine help, blessing, and guidance.
Wow.
So it felt like it was catastrophe. And it was also this like the universe was there with
Yeah.
me. Like
Yep.
that needed to happen. It
Woo!
was really, really, really fucked up. Like it was in, and that was even before. I mean, my whole life I have had experiences and moments where it's like things happened, right? Where it's just like it's not coincidence, it's divine intervention, it's whatever it is, right? Like that had always kind of been part of my life to some degree. And that has, my ability to recognize that has grown exponentially in these last few years. That moment, the Uber moment, was one of those moments where like kind of before I recognized what was fully happening, that I was just like, gah! Like it was just like the cosmos, the divine, whatever it was, cracking through to be like, cool. Yeah. But it was painful.
That's such a good word, and just hearing that word, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've definitely had experiences like that. And you're just like, that's why I think when that scene, I'm just like, yeah.
There's a few people who have like said that that's like one of their favorite parts.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep with the. I like this little game.
Me too.
I won't do every single one, but next one would be 5.
Gratitude. Like that is, I just like, there is no human on earth. I mean, I guess with all of them, of course, but like he is just this like glowing, beautiful human that has just, that literally, again, you know, it's those, the things that that show up early that you then don't fully understand until later, or that show you things that can exist but you're not ready to accept them, or whatever it is. And it's just like, it's in my mind, it's like I'm seeing so many things, but it's just like 5 kind of exists as this like unbroken constant like line of just like unquestioned love.
Yeah.
For 16 years. Cool.
Yeah. And also, okay, wait, pause in the game for a second. I think what's so beautiful is that just that love can exist just in society. I feel like we put things in boxes of like platonic love and romantic love and familiar, and it's just like love. It's Yeah, and the way you just said that, I'm like, oh, that just like hit me of just this constant
Yeah.
line being of love. I just, yeah, it
It's
just,
unconditional,
yeah.
right? And it takes we're like unconditional love is accepting exactly who and what it all is. And a lot of the time that means just being like, we love each other in this really sacred, special way that is exactly what it is for us.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it has to be the second that you're like, well, does that mean it's supposed to? It's like, oh, you put a condition on it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the antithesis of the unconditional that it's just like, um, yeah. And so it's like every single fucking love is gonna be unique to itself. And some of them are meant to just come in and be in a moment in time and then but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But we've got a lot of conditioning that really bastardizes the
Like
whole thing.
we get to not chop up, poke. I meant
Oh,
poke.
and maybe sometimes chop.
Sometimes chop. Um, okay, continue with the game. Number 8.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it. Ooh, like, mm, is there a word for just like pure like hope
Mm.
and love for someone while also kind of having to be like separated from it, you know?
What's so like literally my kind of follow up when I was gonna do the question was that the way you can hold this person in the
Mm.
hope, but also being like, and I'm not a part of it,
Yeah.
and I have to not be a part of it, and
Yeah.
holding that, yeah.
And that he's someone that I've kind of like had a lot of that I've just kind of not questioned, but like okay, no, this is the truth. I recognize that the way that he is presented in the book is a very small
Mm.
and very dark piece of who he is as a human being.
Yeah.
Our initial time together was 6 months,
Mm.
right? Like we lived together.
Mm.
Like we spent a lot of time together. There was a lot of good
Yeah.
and beauty and magic and wonder. And like that's kind of, what we were talking about before, where it's like there's um uh, mm, sorry, I just completely lost the thing that I was on. Well, I mean, there is more to all of it than what you're going to see, but that there's, I guess, like, no, I'm throwing that whole thought away because I don't know where it was going. Cool, we're going to start again. But that there is just like so much more one that gets written.
Yeah.
Obviously. Also, I think this is an aside for both him, but for the entire book, is that like the writing of all of this was the healing process for me, right? So like my writing in general is about my like darker, heavier moments, my darker, heavier thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say before. I'll go back. But so I think a lot of people who know me, they see me as the bright, sparkly, bubbly human, which I am, right? But it's like I don't process my bright, sparkle bubbles by writing. It's just not. I never once have I been like, yay, I'm so happy, let me make a happy poem. Like it's just not what happens. And so all of my writing is like, And so one, that's gonna paint the book. Obviously there are happy and funny and joyful moments in it as well, right?
Yeah.
But it's like
There are.
yeah. But a lot of that stuff I had to actually sit down and be like, okay, we're gonna tell, especially the people, the fives, the 14s, where it's like, this is such a joyful thing, but I need to tell it,
Yeah.
but like that took a little bit more in a different way than the stuff where it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember what I was going to say, which was that, like we were saying before, right? Where it's like, before we've healed this stuff, when you just recognize sometimes that another person has the depth of feeling that you have, but you don't know how to access it.
Mm-hmm.
He and I met in that space. Number 8 is one of the most massive, incredible, beautiful souls that I have ever met on this planet, period. And for that, part of, I think, the almost universal experience of people that are that big is that there's a lot of darkness and weight and intensity that comes with that. And he was very afraid of that. And it's a place that we could both kind of recognize in each other and meet in a lot of love, and then also really meet in a way that hurt each other. There's so much about that story, again, the good and the really, really fucked up, that like just isn't in the book. At some point I kind of started writing it, and I was like, honestly, if I start kind of getting into this, like that's going to be its own whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I can't, I just, yeah, which maybe it will be someday. But all of that to say, right, like the fun that we had together, the way that we laughed, the way that we challenged each other. Like he's also one of the smartest people that I've ever met. You know, it was just like the banter, the wit, all of it was just like unparalleled. And we didn't know how to deal with a lot of the darker stuff. And in the times that like our timelines re-intersected, it was kind of like I had started trying to move more toward the light, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he, at least in the last times that I had seen him, was not making that same choice.
Yeah.
And so it kind of got to a spot where it was just like, I love you, and I hope that I so desperately and truly hope that you choose a different path.
Mm.
But I can't be part of the journey anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love for you and love for me, ultimately.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but I love him so much, you know. And I'm also like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one word for 10. Or like, you know, one.
Ugh.
That's what I want to show people to, like, you know.
Yeah. Oh, just, I mean, like skeezy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good word. Yep.
Slimy, gross, like toxic masculine, just like scum. Like what? He was just, like all of there are redeeming qualities about like everyone in this, and even some of the really ones that it's like, and I know that there's something redeeming, I'm sure, about this person, and I'm just like, yeah, bye.
That's what I want to share people. I'm like, there's, you know, we're talking about all these. There's these people too in it.
Yeah, or it's like, oh, that was that whole thing came from a place within me that just kind of despised myself.
Yeah. And again, the journey.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we've already talked about, but you know, a leap, and I know it's impossible, but I like to just 17.
Yeah. I mean, like, love is the word that came, and then I was like, surely there's another word, and it's like, no, you know.
Yeah.
And in a same but different way from number 8, where it's like there is just so much continued hope and love in me that his path and journey has brought joy and love and healing, you know. Yeah.
I know I'm kind of, again, I want to reference like some of the earlier ones, and I mean, we talked about. I'm pretty sure we talked about 21 last time. We definitely did, but 21.
21. Oh yeah. Probably gratitude again. Where like that's another thing where it's like it's not possible to show. I would need to write multiple books, and I might, honestly, around just that person and our time and what that relationship is. But it's like, I think, again, because so much of the processing for me is the heavier, more intense stuff. That part of me is like, I don't know if it actually portrays how much just safety and love
Yeah.
there is in that friendship, in that relationship, in just like the way that that human being has held space and love for me and continues to, you know.
You feel it, but I think there's more too. That like I want more. I want more of
I know
that.
well, and I know you've also read other pieces, the spicier pieces that did not make it into the final edition.
Give me more of that, please. That's what I really been wanting. um, okay, so actually 23. Let's throw in 23.
23. Oh, yeah, no, just like ease to the point of just like, or sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, like this is just
Oh,
cool.
I
Oh,
want that for 23.
yeah, I know you do. Yeah, I love 23 so much. Oh my god. Yeah, he's just like it's so hard to explain him as a human being because he's just so himself and so straightforward and so like again just like his emotional world is significantly smaller than mine, but he understands and loves that mine is much larger. But for that, sometimes when I need to bring something that's like an 11 on the spectrum into like his 5,
Yeah.
I'm like literally off the spectrum. We've left the 1 to 10. We're over here, and he's just kind of like, okay, and I'm like, okay,
Thank you. I love you.
cool. So that was great. Yeah, but then also like I don't know, he's just so important because it's like he's someone that it's like the even though he's a between a 4 and a 6 on the emotional spectrum, if we want to call it that, like he's really good at like holding space in a really like important way for the stuff that's larger, even though he doesn't necessarily, it's not holding space in the same way that's like I understand this and I am necessarily meeting you in it, but it's like I can be here to kind of just see you in it, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which has been a really important experience. Just kind of be like, okay. Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
I love him too.
So to circle back to where we started, how we started of being in Amsterdam, submitting it a couple days ago.
Yeah.
It is coming Blue Moon in a handful of days.
In Paris.
I'm fucking Paris! I guess I know that's such a kind of two-part. One is like just how does it feel? And I think I said this I think it was our last conversation and in my blurb of this is the kind of book that just feels like it just accompanies you everywhere. Like it's the book that I just want on my nightstand. It's the book where you just are going to, fold down the pages and you need to come back to a certain section or word or this, or, it feels like a companion. And so with that, like, I know what you're saying before, like this was for you and freeing yourself, but, and I feel like it is now that it's out in the world and people are going to be reading it and experiencing it. Is there any like feeling you have about when someone kind of finishes it and turns that last page, or when they're holding your words, when they're going to a cafe and reading, like, is there any like feelings you're having about people holding her and like holding you and your story? Like, do you have any just feelings about that?
It's so I mean, yes, I do have feelings about it. I'm actually meeting up with a friend tonight who I haven't seen since 2020. A Chicago friend who's moved here in the last year. And like I've already like I had this thought a few days ago, but I'm like I'm going to bring the proof copy that I have because I'm like part of me is like do you want to meet her? Is literally that I'm just like that's the question in my head of being like do you want to meet like my child? Like do you want to hold her in the same way that other people are like you can have my baby? I'm like yeah. And so it feels kind of like that, I guess. And there's almost just this very real knowing of like, I don't know, in the same way that like I have needed to just kind of go out and be free and become my own, who I was destined to be. That's how it feels for her, right? Where it's just kind of like, okay, like you were part of me up until now, and now you get to go and have your own life, and it's going to be a big life. And
Yeah.
I know that, and you're going to see the world, and you're going to actually see the world through like the hearts and souls of all of the people that you get to interact with. And then that just kind of like makes her life her own.
Like,
Yeah.
that's literally what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like she gets to go live all of these experiences now through all these people.
She's going to make a lot of friends.
You make a lot of friends.
Yeah, she's gonna make a lot of friends, and she might make some people mad, and that's fine, you know. Good for her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like I think we talked about this last time, but it's like that's where I had to get right to get to the
Mhm.
spot where it's like I actually could, in the same way that it's like I needed to set myself free completely. That it's
Mhm.
like, okay, now she gets to actually be completely free, and I don't get a say anymore over the narrative, over the story, over how this gets, how she, who she becomes, right? It's just like, okay, like I got you this far, but the rest of it's on you, baby boo.
Fly, baby, fly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
yeah,
here. I guess a last question.
yeah.
What are you gonna do in the to celebrate?
So I'm spending Sunday, which is the day that it launches, in Paris with my
With
sister.
your sister.
That just kind of aligned perfectly. She
That
was
was so
happy to be
important.
there. Yeah. And for a million reasons, it's like, of course it makes sense that like
Yeah.
that's what's happening. Yeah, and so we're gonna just spend the day together. And there's a few things that I will happily speak about in the future that I know are gonna transpire, but it's not, they're for me right now. They're just for me. And yeah, she and I were going to dinner at one of our, I mean, like favorite restaurants in the city. Yeah, and I don't know, and then I'll have a few days there on my own. And Paris, in the subsequent books, the books that kind of go more into the travels and the more just kind of like me stuff that isn't about the interpersonal relationships, I guess, like maybe more travel-y stuff. Paris and I have had a very unique and contentious relationship for a very long time. We came to peace about 2 years ago. I actually let her go. I went back to make peace with her, and when I left, literally like said the words like, "If I never come back here again, that will be okay." And then the universe laughed really hard like 2 weeks after I made that declaration and was like, "Hey, you're actually going to go back for a month in like a few weeks in a way that like you kind of have not like no control over, but it was just like, yeah." So I was just like, I'm done. And then the universe was like, okay, now you can have this thing back. But that's how it goes, right? It's like you let something go and then you get it, but
Yeah.
just in a new way.
Yeah.
Um, but we're forming, or we're in the new phase of our relationship. And there are a million reasons as to why I now understand that it's like, of course, that's where I will be when this happens.
Mhm.
But to have a few days on my own there, um, yeah, afterwards, it's just kind of like, I don't know, there's no, it's just kind of, yeah, probably like there's no real plan, but I also know that it will involve the act of me being there, the act of me walking the streets that I have loved and loathed there
Mm.
so many times, like that almost is this complete completion of the cycle of being like pulling, of sending that energy back through all of the layers
Yeah.
and being like, hey,
Yeah.
you honestly, I mean, part of the reason I went so crazy in that city for so long is because I I was still on the journey, and I was still in the parts that weren't living the
Mm.
full, I was living the story, right? But I
Mhm.
hadn't healed it. I hadn't fully accepted it. I hadn't kind of moved through all of it. I was fighting it. But I could also feel the future in which it was all real. And so it's like, well, me going back now gets to be in some way almost kind of like laughing through time and space, being like, I know you're really in it, but I also know that you know that it works out, and like I'm the me, and like you're good, you know. Yeah.
Thank you for just thank you for this book. Thank you, and all the ones that will come after this. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of the journey of reading it in the process and getting to share my feelings about it in the blurb. And I don't say it lightly. Like it's a piece of art that changed me, that really affected me. And again, I really don't say that lightly about things, you know? So I just want other people to experience this. And I'm just so proud of you, and I'm so happy for you, and I'm just so honored to witness this journey, and I just love you.
I love you so much. Thank you for everything, and for being so intimately part of this process and my process these last few years, as we have both kind of screamed and excavated, and yeah. And you get to hold her so soon, and you get to hold me so soon.
London, baby. Also Amsterdam at some point.
At some point, yes. But even going back to London, I don't know. There's just the going back in this version of me, like there's just so much magic.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I love you. Thank you for this.
Oh, my pleasure. I could do this all the
time. I know. This is fun.
Morgan-ish coming back at some point.
At some point. Yeah, stay tuned, but like don't hold your breath. Okay. Mwah.
Bye.
Laters.
Laters.